how to get the documents to us. We have, from the time I started practicing law, things have completely changed, that we don't get hard copies as much anymore. We have moved into a world that we want electronic files. That's the best if we can get them. We have a subscription and prefer to use Dropbox. A lot of attorneys use ShareFile. I'll let Kate talk about them, because I think you and maybe even Pat can chime in. We've heard from people who think maybe Dropbox is not as secure, or they like ShareFile, or back and forth. We have found, and like I said, I'll let Pat and Kate kind of chime in, but we have found that Dropbox, ShareFile, they're all equally secure, documents encrypted, so I'll let you, Kate, kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say, I prefer to utilize a Dropbox. They're motioning for me with her. I prefer to use Dropbox, and I would be more than happy. I set those up for your clients, for you guys. I'll send you those links. You guys let me know. You put your documents in there. We can add documents to it throughout the process and everything. ShareFile and some of these other ones are great. Some of them we do find problems and hangups and snags with because of downloading empty file folders, like with your mandatory discovery, perhaps, if you have them formatted in a particular way and the client doesn't have those particular documents, you'll kind of get into a little bit of a snag with that. I will put this out there. I don't like Google Drive.
Agreed.
But that's just a personal preference. But if you have to send them individually linked by Google Drive, I will work through it. So I don't complain. So, yeah.
Why don't you like Google Drive?
It's just, well, you know, when they're when I get documents that come in via individual links, which happens quite frequently, I have to sit there and download every individual document, and it takes time. So when we can have a share file or a Dropbox or something like that where you can upload a mass amount of documents and I can work on that, it's much easier.
And we do still, from time to time, particularly in some of these gray divorce cases that are happening, to get hard copy documents. People bring them in suitcases, in boxes, in garbage bags, all sorts of things. And we get to the situation where they need to be copied and scanned, and we can do it, but that's costly. You guys can do it, but that's going to cost just as much. I feel like in the perfect world, the best option is if you have a summer intern, but we don't always have that. But what we have found is, surprisingly, and we don't have a relationship with them, we're not getting kickback, document service like PDS is actually very economical. We've been really surprised. I'll let Kate talk about that piece, but we've been surprised that this is actually the cheapest option of sending the documents to a document service.
Yeah. So with and like I said, no kickbacks from PDS. But if any of you have worked with Derek, who owns PDS, they're great service. But they will come get the document from you, make the digital copies in it, upload them for you, bring your originals back to you, and if you need paper copies or you have to provide paper format to, say, opposing counsel, they will courier that for you and such. And so it is a cost-effective means of getting somebody else to kind of take that off your paralegal's plate or your legal assistant's plate, file clerks, or whoever you may have.
It's not having to stand in front of a copy machine and take out the staple,
yeah,
and then copy the page and then staple it back, put it back in the folder is priceless.
Well, and they're so organized and neat about it, and quite frankly, there's other billable functions that everyone else could be doing while somebody's doing that job. So it does make it a little easier.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you have this one, Kate, about organizing the documents.
Yeah, so it's great to get documents organized from law firms, and I've worked for law firms. But every paralegal and legal assistant has their own format of naming things and whatnot, and filing categories and such. And so it's best to let me do it. It's the bottom line. I appreciate some organization, that's great. But sometimes it's just easier to let me do what I need to do than having them spend a lot of time. And again, that's just a service I can take off your paralegal and legal assistant's plates to do pretty effectively for you.
So, and that kind of ties into our next, we have a methodology of how we like to sort and organize the documents that makes it where we can efficiently and quickly use them. And so I'm actually going to let Kate talk about this, but Lori Dyke, I'm sure you all know she is, started our firm 20 years ago, and our process has, other than figuring out the electronic world, our process hasn't changed in those 20 years because Lori taught all of us how to do it so efficiently and organize the documents to get them in a manner where when you need, say, a pleading or a bank statement or a credit card and you need it for January 2023, you know exactly where to go, how to get it, and you can be there within seconds. So Kate is the master of getting all of this in the places where it needs to go.
Yeah, and so what this offers to you guys also is that with our organized system, is like Elizabeth said, if you are looking for documents too, as many times when the attorneys need to call us up and say, hey, I'm not finding this document, and I'm able to find it for you really fast and get it back to you if you need it. The other thing about the sorting process is based on the scope that you've employed engaged IAG for. Our organization process also helps us kind of fine line and fine tune for the scope of what we're being engaged for.
Talk on this.
Yeah. So when I organize and Shar too, and we work on these documents and organize and stuff, we do have a particular method that we utilize, especially for, it helps us with like marital balance sheets and such, and helping out with that kind of stuff. We're looking at, is it a husband ownership, wife ownership? Is it a joint ownership? Is it a corporation, a company ownership? Are the kids' names on these? Is it wife with mom, whatever? So we have a process in which we identify these various accounts by ownership. Business litigation, I will let Shar speak on.
You've got one.
Oh, yeah, I got one. Business lit, it's kind of sort of the same way, just not husband and wife. We usually go by entity or individual name, depending on what the case style is. If we're looking into companies, we'll sort it by companies. If we have individuals, we'll be looking at individuals. It's kind of the same, just listed a little bit differently.
So basically what we're getting down to is, okay, we've got bank statements. We know we go to a bank statement, whether it's folder or, it used to be a hard copy, but we've got bank statements, and then we have them organized by who holds the bank account. Then we have them organized by the date, so that if you're looking at a particular transaction in a certain time frame, you can easily get to the transaction on the statement in, the particular document. All right.
So another part of the process and the job that I do is when you guys send me your documents, I'm keeping track of all of that information. So were they opposing counsel forwarded by you? How did I receive them? That comes in really handy. We track that through our process. Also, how did we get these documents, where they originate from? It comes in handy because you guys might have to reach out back to us and say, did you ever get this production from 9/28?
Okay.
And so we track and log everything that you guys are sending to us.